Hello everyone, this here is the LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector's Series Luke's Landspeeder. I bought this for $200 US and built the whole thing live over on Twitch. This is made with 1,890 pieces and of course comes with the stand, the plaque, and two figures, which we'll look at more closely later on. LEGO makes a big deal in the instructions and on the website about the stand doing a fantastic job of just getting you immersed into the Star Wars universe and making it feel like you are right there in the sands or on the sands of Tatooine with this. But as you can obviously see, the stand actually stands this way too far off the ground for realism's sake, and I'm okay with that. It's just very odd that they put so many words into congratulating themselves for creating a stand that is actually not at all realistic to the scene. Again, I'm perfectly fine with this continuation of the standard of stands here. It's just funny how they talk about themselves sometimes. The plaque, as usual, uses a single large sticker on a 8x16 tile, and as far as I know, there are no mistakes on it this time. The build is surprisingly straightforward for an expert level model in 2022. It's mostly bricks and plates on top of bricks and plates. There is some upside down construction, there's some studs on the side construction, of course, but not too much of this felt too fancy to me, and I'm actually fine with that. It was just a little bit unexpected. I thought there would be a lot more Technic stuff inside, but because of the kind of pancake shape of the main hull, they didn't need to do a lot for structure. You know, just stacking stuff normally was plenty strong. So you can pick this thing up and kind of wield it around, and it doesn't feel like anything's going to fall off particularly, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of extra stuff done inside. Let me take you around to this side. One of the most interesting, most detailed areas of this is the exposed engine over on the left-hand side, which has a lot of nice little hose-like details put in there. You kind of fold those and weave them through there. Obviously, you got some upside-down construction here, which I think looks pretty nice. One of the most striking things about this is its color scheme, and is the use of the most recent main color scheme that they've used for the minifig scale, the most recent minifig scale one as well, with the dark red, of course. And fortunately, dark red supposedly has been fixed, so it's not super brittle anymore. And then the nougat or nougat color, just the regular one, not medium nougat, but just what previously was called just flesh as opposed to light flesh. It's an odd color, but it's pretty perfect. It's the best match, absolutely, to the source material that LEGO could have come up with and that they have in their part inventory. One thing that's not such a good match is that color on this sticker right here, or on this sticker right here. These are two large stickers. Technically, they are only applied along a curve that has a single axis to it. So this is cut out of a cone right here. So it's not a compound curve. So it is perfectly legal for them to do this, but it is a large piece to put a sticker on, and it's difficult to get these lined up. I think it's unreasonable to ask people to have to line up stickers, especially when they're not going to line up in the end, especially when the cut is not consistent. This is from a single sticker sheet, but you can see that the red band over here is thicker. You can also see that the flesh-colored or nougat band over here is thicker just because of where the die cut occurred, even though the interface between them is lined up pretty well here. And figuring out that gap versus the gap at the other end, I don't know, that's just not the most fun thing for me. These are super cool. These flexible tubes are done in the molded silver color, and they're just fit in there. They're not attached at the ends, thankfully. You just put one down, and then you put a couple more, and you put a couple more. They're just held in place. They're kind of clamped and guided around, which is great. It's a really good technique. It is definitely the most realistic thing that they could have done without resorting to stickers or even prints, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the shaping around the front. I'm happy with the shaping of the little nose bit here. Definitely could have used more suggestions of wear on this. It looks too clean. I like the lines, the dark red going through there. Yeah, all that. That is beautiful. That is very nice. Extra little detail right here. Let me pick this thing up off the stand for a moment. A little exposed area that has a panel removed from it from nice, or to nice effect. There we go. And then this, yeah, that is one beautiful one-off original exclusive windscreen piece that they designed just for this model. It does have a couple of strange optical effects right around in this area. Sorry, this isn't gonna focus very well, but right across here, the same thing on the other side. You see where it bends light in a strange way right there, just because of the thickness of the material and how it bent. I believe that they're actually starting with a sheet to make this, at least I think, or maybe it's just in the design. If it's molded, if it's purely molded, then they made a miscalculation, I think, in the consistency of thickness there. But that is definitely nitpicking. This is a beautiful piece, and it has no scuffs, no scratches on it, because they did wrap it with a self-adhesive clear sheet of disposable plastic to protect it as well. They need to. I hope that they will continue to do that. We've been asking them to do that for quite some time, and at the very least, on these most expensive expert level sets, they should continue to do that, because we pay a lot for these and we don't want our parts, especially the most noticeable parts, to be damaged right out of the box. Got a sticker right there for the center console. The seats to me look too small proportion wise. I'm going to talk a little bit more about proportions in a minute. The steering yoke also a little bit too small, but I think it's an appropriate style of piece to use there. Shaping back here looks nice to me. The engines, okay, the center one. Look at those stickers and how those stickers have to line up. No matter what you do, you're going to have gaps. See, coming around the other side, it's the exact same thing, because this is a symmetrical build, and basically you have to choose which side you want to have the gap on as you try to line up these stickers, what is most important to you. If I could do this again, I would probably try all three options of either having this gap be the smallest possible or that gap be gone. Well, it can't be gone because of the center one, but I went towards that side, or splitting the difference and having it centered between them. I don't like having to make that choice here. Again, especially on such a big, important, large scale and expensive kit. The better solution for that would have been nice. Sorry about the focus there. Two other things about this engine. First of all, this one should have an absolutely round inlet, and that one, it's slightly oblong right now. It's not that bothersome to me, but it is just a small nitpick that's worth making on something that's supposed to be a collector model that's large. Also, the angle of the pylon right here should be much steeper. It should angle back farther. Right now it's much too vertical. It's definitely something that's noticeable if you look at reference material. Coming over to this engine, you have the exact same issue with the stickers once again, where you have to kind of choose where your gaps will be. But with these, the engine inlets, I found out I was wrong. I thought that all of these are supposed to be round. These are supposed to be oblong as they are rendered right here. This is the correct shape. In Lego, you're not going to get a better shape than this, especially at this scale. Really good stuff right there. I also really, really like all this in here. The recoloring of the Mini Cooper style small fenders and the way that those are placed in there to get those curves. That's just sweet. It's beautiful. Recoloring of these inward bowed plate pieces, or a number of those used on this kit. And I like that sticker right there too. That totally makes sense, and I think it adds a lot of value and it helps, and there's no way that they would have gotten that done with just pure building techniques at this scale. So yeah, it could have been a print, but as a sticker, I actually am perfectly fine with it. The sides, just generally, the sides are done very well, but I do have just a couple last things regarding proportion that I want to talk about. So I mentioned that this angle here it's too vertical. It should be farther back, and or should be taller. The whole thing should be taller, and this should be taller, or this should be shorter. Let me go over that again and be more clear about it. The nose here, at the very least, should be shorter, or the windscreen and this engine, or the pylon holding it up, should be taller. The Landspeeder is such a tiny, tiny vehicle. I mentioned earlier how the seats look too small here. Just generally, what they've done proportion-wise here is make this look like it is a larger vehicle in universe than it really is. A figure, an appropriately sized person to go in this would have their head like up here and it would barely be like you know, leaning off the edge. The shoulder would be outside of this windscreen. I mean, a person takes up a ton of space. Remember, C-3PO sitting out here was like this big, leaning forward. Like, this is a tiny thing, and it should look shorter and stubbier than it does. And so I think there are two options to make that happen. I know that the designers always take care to go off the actual measurements, and they do measurements of relative proportions in all of the source material that they have, but ultimately they do have to make compromises, and I think the compromises here, similar to the A-Wing, the UCS A-Wing, just don't quite work with human mental perception and visual perception. And I think that to correct that, either the nose should have been maybe 2 studs shorter. That feels about right to me, about 2 studs shorter, or the windscreen needed to be taller and this engine needed to be higher up to just change the relative weight of those. It needs to be more of a super deformed looking thing, and right now it's looking a little bit more sleek. All right, let's check out these figures. Obviously we have here Farm Boy Luke and C-3PO. We've gotten a lot of Farm Boy Lukes, so there's no surprise there. Also, it's completely appropriate to have a Luke with this set, right? This is not a minifig scaled set, so personally, I don't feel like it needed to have a full complement of figures or a ton of figures or anything like that. That's just my personal perspective. I think that UCS sets that are, or collector level sets that are minifig scale should have as many minifigs as possible, but for this one to just include the 2 is fine. And Farm Boy Luke we've gotten plenty of. I definitely agree with people who say that for this scene there is no point in including the lightsaber, or if they wanted to include the lightsaber as an option, fine, to get more of them out there with a well-produced hilt and a nice frosted trans light blue blade here, but it also should have come with the rifle. That would have been appropriate here. Now on the right, the big deal here is that C-3PO is the first ever official Lego C-3PO with the dual molded right leg for the original trilogy, just looking pretty proper. Interestingly, that leg is not dual molded between gold and silver. It's dual molded between gold and light gray. I didn't recognize that at first. It still looks okay. Actually, it looks pretty good, but it probably could have used some additional silver printing on it to make that pop some more. That is a really well detailed figure. It is one of the most accurate that they've done, if not the most accurate that they've done. I personally am not the biggest fan of the brown printing. I feel like it's overdone. There's just a little bit too much of it. The lines are a little bit too thick, even if those are the thinnest that they can reasonably do with the current process. Increase the spacing between them, especially on the arms. Like, it's great to have that printing on the side of the arms and also on the side of the leg there, but it just seems a little bit dirty. Should seem a little bit more sleek and integrated. I think the brown also stands out more than it should. But overall, great to get a new figure, but it's really disappointing that this is exclusive. And not only is it exclusive, but the fact that it's dual molded is exclusive to just this one expensive set. Here's what I ended up with for leftover parts. Not a whole lot of the most special, new, or interesting things here, except for this, which is always great to get extras of in a very neutral color, such as the brown here. And let's check out the sticker sheet. You ready for this? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this sticker sheet. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, of course, there's the huge one for the plaque, but all this stuff on the side, all those, that's a lot of stickers, a lot of sizable stickers for a UCS set. I am not anti-sticker, but this was a lot. All right, price and value. Again, this cost $200 US. Does it feel like $200 US worth of Lego stuff that's sitting in front of me right now? Well, it's definitely more than $100 worth. And it definitely feels like more than $150 worth to me, especially considering that it's 2022. I mean, this is a lot of stuff. A lot of recolors. It's solid. There's some mass there. and that specialized mold that they did that's big for the windscreen that's most likely only ever going to be used in this set. Seriously doubt they will ever use that again for any others. The number that comes to my mind, honestly, is about 180. That's not breaking it down too carefully. That's not investigating the part counts and size and everything. Just, I feel 180 here. So for it to be 200 in 2022 doesn't feel outrageous to me. Doesn't feel like I've been ripped off here. I would like it to be a little bit cheaper, but I'm okay with the price, especially considering the specialized windscreen piece. I definitely would have preferred less reliance on stickers, or with the number of stickers that it has, would have preferred to see more wear on this. Because, you know, in Universe, in A New Hope, this thing had all kinds of wear on it, and exposed metal and rusty areas. This looks way too clean. You got the one scrape across the front, and the stickers that are used on the engines are too gappy. Would I have preferred, would I have ever expected them to do this with nothing but prints? No. The way that Lego works, absolutely not. I think that's a little bit of a dead horse issue, stickers versus prints and why and whatnot. But definitely these front ones should have been prints, because that's just too important and it's too obvious. It's just too obvious. And a lot of people aren't going to have the skill or want to employ the skill to line these up perfectly and have to have the patience to do it just right. There isn't really a perfect way to do it either. It's going to have gaps no matter what, just the way that they're designed. And it's super obvious the difference in the flesh tone color that's on the sticker versus the plastic piece. So that's a miss there. These I can accept, but overall value I feel is not bad here. The building experience was good. This is super striking to look at. It definitely is a display model. I really wish that the proportions were better. I've spent a bunch of time looking at pictures of the full scale props out on the desert. Props plural. And this ain't it. But it's close. It's a good effort. I just wish that they had done better. It's kind of like with the A-Wing, the UCS A-Wing. It's so close, but not there. It's just a little bit off. Now, of course, I have to address the whole fact that this is a meme kit, because Lego's so self-congratulatory in their instruction manual and in their marketing materials about how this is by popular demand. This is what the people wanted. And the way that they got that information that people wanted this is that they searched around for, I'm sure that they had some companies, some tech companies that did this work for them or with them, searching around on social media and such, looking at how frequently people were talking about UCS, and then deleting from that set all the UCS sets that have already been made, and then finding, all the associated terms that suggest that people are interested in a given UCS set to be built. And I saw a lot of people talking about UCS Landspeeder. It didn't take into consideration the fact that those people were joking about UCS Landspeeder, because there's so many Luke's Landspeeders that have been done. It's a joke thing that people talk about. It hasn't really been that many, but it's been a lot. Probably more than it needs to be relative to other things. I'm talking about not UCS, obviously, but just the regular minifig scale ones. So many people have not complained so much, a little bit of complaining, but mostly joked about how many Landspeeders they have that have been made by Lego, and would joke, okay, let's have a UCS Landspeeder. We haven't had one of those. Haha. Lego didn't get the memo about the haha part. Lego doesn't understand sarcasm as a company. So they made this. This is a good target for UCS sets. Sure, after you've done a whole bunch of other stuff that desperately needs to be done in UCS scale or in as collector models. Where's our UCS Venator already? Like, come on, seriously. Why is that? Why has there only ever been one Venator? So this is fine as subject matter. Not the best choice, but done well for what it is. And yeah, it's just good. No major complaints. Let's get some other stuff that needs to be done now. And maintain this level of quality, focus a little bit more on getting proportions just right, and also judging the market and actually understanding sarcasm versus actual desire from the majority of fans who are anxious to spend a lot of money on a Lego set. Those are my thoughts. Oh yeah, and the exclusivity of the dual molding for the leg on this is absolute garbage, and I hate it with a passion. It's completely wrong way to go with that. Some exclusive printing, sure. Make the figure exclusive, yes, but don't make dual molding of the legs such a key thing that's been needed for so long. Don't make that exclusive. Seriously, not okay. I think that's about it for my thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your patience making it through all of this. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope that maybe I've shown you some angles that help you to come to your own conclusions, make your own decisions about whether you want to buy this or not, or just what you think about it in general. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.